Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and as I was going through the latest patch notes like I apparently do, got me thinking about, man, there were a lot of nerfs last year, weren't there? There was a lot of buffs, and I will admit, I pushed for a lot of it because, well, I feel like most of us, the game doesn't feel a ton of fun a lot of the times as things are just so out of whack, and I took a look at the numbers. I literally crunched the numbers, and there was a shocking amount of balance changes just in 2024 alone. And as a former accountant, yes, I actually made a Google Excel sheet. I made pivot tables and I crunched the numbers. I just wanted to go over it as to why, literally a thread I wrote 5 years ago on Reddit, the balance testing problem and why T5 needs to change. It's still the same nonsense, right? Everything is always released in like these crazy states, and I just feel like it's gotten worse, and it's a legitimate problem. Like, it's taxing on people when so many cards change. Again, you're gonna want to hear the number. It's ridiculous. As always, if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like, 'cause we're on the road to 90,000 subscribers. And the shocking truth behind the balance changes, by the way, are that I make the decisions according to the Hearthstone subreddit, and like swear like pro players are starting to think that. Got people tweeting that the reason the game sucks is because they listen to creators. Like, yeah, I wish they listened. Believe me, Ethereal Oracle would not be like it is now, and Sonya probably would have taken 9 months to get nerfed. They also probably wouldn't have nerfed Reno 3 times or Renethal. My boy Renethal. Regardless of that, that's not it. But I did tweet out my findings overall, and I have a spreadsheet to back it up. But yeah, I went through and looked through just this year, just 2024, from January up until, you know, the end of the year. There were 91 cards nerfed. 91 throughout the year, and there were 83 buffs, and I'm not including like the reverts to wild when that happens. I didn't include any of that, but I did include like there was a temporary event. Well, not as a temporary event, but they buffed a bunch of cards before they rotated for like a fun infusion, right? I can't remember what that was, they were calling that, but a bunch of like Voids and Second City cards that hadn't seen their time were included. So if you want to exclude that, maybe have like 10 or 12 less buffs, you would think, but they were in standard, they were there for a bit, then they went to wild. But it's absolutely insane that we had over 170 balance changes in a year. That's it. If you look at the first year of Hearthstone, there was like 3 or something like that. Obviously, things have changed a lot, but that seems to me just too much. That number is insanely way too large, especially when you're nerfing so many cards and decks. It's hard for the average person to keep up with it. I took a look at what the most nerfed expansion was during the year, and to the surprise of absolutely nobody, Showdown of the Badlands, 22 cards nerfed, although there were probably some in 2023, right? That came out in 2023. 22 cards. There's like how many cards in expansion? That's like a ton of them, right? But Perils in Paradise, which I remember people mocking Perils in Whizbang as like these low power level expansions, 18 and 19 a piece. Like, they have been pretty problematic if you wouldn't, you know, if we've seen so many nerfs lately to them, and the Great Dark Beyond is really struggling still. If you look at the Great Dark Beyond, I think we have 1 card so far. What, Quasar? Ethereal's time is probably coming, but other than that, I don't believe there is another card nerf from the set, and we've already seen 14 buffs in like 2 months, right? Like, these are crazy numbers. I remember Hearthstone didn't even see a single buff until a year after the Boomsday project came out. They never buffed cards like at all. And then they decided to start doing that. And yeah, we see a record amount, which has led to other problems, of course, where we had Chia Drake, we had Conniving Conman, we had the Mystery Egg, we had Razzle Dazzler, we had Sludge on Wheels, we had Treasure Distributor, and we all had Tsunami buffed and then nerfed during the year, which is also kind of a big issue when you're buffing that many cards and then basically screwing up the meta or making it worse by doing that. And yeah, I'm happy we get faster balance changes, but the way they've been pushing power level, which we have seen with the launch of the Great Dark Beyond, a set with a bit of a lower power level, it cannot compete, even though we have seen countless nerfs and already like countless buffs throughout the year. And I just feel like it's an exhaustive process that players are just, you know, frustrated with. It's a struggle to keep up with. And it really comes down to releasing cards in just ridiculous states. I will just use it as an example of releasing a card like Quasar. I know I'm beating a dead horse here. The card wasn't even a power outlier, but it was just one of those glaring things. Like, we are focusing on a board-based expansion, right? We really want the board to matter. We want it to matter with our Draenei, which are literally just incrementally fighting for the board minions. They work with each other and they require the board to work. And they have starships, for the most part, are a board-based thing that you eventually launch and have your big payoff to, but a lot of times that leads to an OTK, and that's a whole other thing that might emerge at some point. But they released Quasar, a card that does none of that, and was tuned to be at least semi-competitive, and it was just a giant glaring red flag before this set even went live. I wouldn't shut up about it the second I really saw that card. I was extremely concerned based on how it looked. And the other card, of course, is Ethereal Oracle, which, again, doesn't really go with those strategies. And I think everybody saw that card. And it's like, that's 3 mana with spell damage, draws 2, tutors. This is one of the best cards they've ever made, right? I don't even know if I gave it a 5. I gave it a 4 or 5. Regardless, it was just like another one of those confusing ones, and then it doesn't even get nerfed in like the latest patch, which again, to a lot of people, makes absolutely no sense because again, it goes against the whole strategy of the expansion. So we're kind of seeing the consequences. If you look at these numbers, this absolutely large number of nerfs and buffs to the point of where, yeah, the power level of the game has gotten so crazy, so out of control that they can literally nerf almost 100 cards, 100 in less than a year. And it barely feels like it's mattered that much. Like, some cards have outright been reworked, some have been gutted, and at the end of the day, the game right now, again, we've talked a lot about it, feels out of control. It feels very non-Hearthstone, and we have an expansion like Great Dark Beyond that's trying to combat with that. It can't. There's just no way to deal with it even after 100 nerfs. So this should, I just hope this is like, you know, kind of a sign to like the team, maybe like we should, I would love to say playtest more, but that I've been saying that literally since 5 years ago, since I wrote, when was this Reddit thread where I don't see a date on it. It was right after the whole Galakron Shaman launch. So that would have been what, 2019? And then Ashes of Outland happened, Demon Hunter happened, only got worse. It only got worse after that. But yeah, I've been saying this forever. Like, imagine they have like public test realms or private test realms where people can give them insight or something like that. Because as much as people like to say, for some reason, because a creator program exists, that we can just tell the devs what we want, it's like so close to be the exact opposite of that. We give some feedback, but my God, there's a reason Kibler put out a video and was frustrated. If he couldn't tell, read between the lines, I'm under NDA. But yeah, it's just like this thing where the game has gotten to this state where we have like almost 100 nerfs, we have almost 100 buffs, and it feels like we're completely not pleasing anybody, and the game is a mess, and I just don't know what to do other than I feel like the Great Dark Beyond is actually a step in the right direction, at least, right? We're not calling for mass nerfs of like almost anything from the set. We'd like Oracle to get dialed down. Some people are annoyed by asteroids, whatever, but maybe, just maybe, they have seen this. And maybe, just maybe, if we keep on this train of the Great Dark Beyond and not, you know, just completely pushing insane power level, that maybe in 2025, this number could be like considerably less, and this could be less too, and we could just like enjoy cards that aren't completely broken and uninteractive and stupid, right? Maybe. It really puts on to, like, you know, we talked about how last year was one of the worst years in Hearthstone. I feel like this reflects it, right? There was just, it was a mess, and they couldn't fix it no matter how many balance changes there were, because, you know, a balance change can't really fix, I don't want to say it, but, you know, bad design or just, you know, misguided design. I don't want to be crapping on the design team or whatever, but it was a pretty rough year, right? When you have to rework that many cards, nerf that many cards, buffs that many cards, and it still feels like crap. There is obviously a little bit of a bigger issue there. Anyways, we'll probably speculate about nerfs soon right now. Literally, I just want Ethereal Oracle to get nerfed and, you know, see what the mini set brings. And for me, it's more of just like waiting for rotation, right? Like rotation's going to be a big deal. The mini set will probably be a big deal, but I don't see a big mass balance patch mattering until rotation. But yeah, Ethereal Oracle can like kiss my butt right now. I still feel like that card is really, really dumb. Anyways, let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.